Welcome to my channel. This is an indication of some of the things that I cover on a regular basis in my videos. If you haven't already subscribed, please feel free to do so, and don't forget to click the little bell so that you'll get notified of future videos. Please feel free to share my videos on your social media, and I hope you enjoy the video which follows. Well, hello everybody. I'm going to try my luck at making a sourdough pita bread. At least we say pita bread here. I think in England they might say pita bread. It's like tomato, I think. I'm not quite sure. It's a Middle Eastern flat bread anyway. I think everybody probably knows that. This is not my original recipe, so I will put a link to where I found it online down below. And I've got the ingredients lined up here. There's 500 grams, and I'm using a white bread flour. I think you could also probably use an all-purpose flour. 280 grams of water. 9 grams of salt. I'm using a sea salt. Only 20 grams of the sourdough culture, and it's a ripe sourdough culture. I fed it about 6 hours ago. It was bubbling away nicely. It's a very small amount of culture, but there's a very long fermentation period, so hopefully it's going to work. And 15 grams of olive oil. I'm going to do mine in the stand mixer, so I'll get that set up here. I'm going to start with the whisk attachment. Add all of the water. And the sourdough culture. There isn't very much of it, so I don't want to lose any of it. That will do. And I'll whisk that together just to get the wild yeast in the sourdough culture distributed well through the water. I think that's just about done it. Switch over to the dough hook and add all the other ingredients. Flour, the salt, and the olive oil. Once that comes together, I'm going to let it knead for 5 minutes. And the instructions say if you're doing it by hand, you would probably knead for about 10 minutes. So I'll bring you back once it has finished kneading. It's just about finished its kneading. 15 seconds to go here. And as you can see, it's come together in a solid mass. It's cleaned up the bowl completely. Well, this would make a good bread to do if you're too busy in the daytime to be working with it, because it now rests for 24 hours, so you could mix it up one evening and finish it the next evening. That's the finished product as it came out of the mixer. It's a nice easy dough to handle. And now I'm just going to put it in a bowl with a little olive oil. Oil the bowl and oil the dough at the same time. And this just gets covered and kept at room temperature for 24 hours. So that little bit of sourdough culture that's in there, it was well mixed in. Over the 24 hours it should grow quite a bit and ferment the rest of the dough. I don't know how much it will rise, but we will see in 24 hours time when we try to finish our pita bread. Well, it's had its 24 hours to rest, almost exactly, I guess. And it has risen somewhat. Quite a bit, I guess, if I can remember back what it looked like. And now it gets divided into 8 equal, relatively equal portions. And I'm going to do that by weighing it, I guess. So it's got quite a few air bubbles in it. Risen quite a bit. It said you would get roughly 8 100-gram ones, and this weighs 815 grams, so that's pretty accurate, I guess. Just shape each one of the portions into a ball and set it aside to rest. So I'll do another. You haven't got to watch me do all 8 of them, I guess. I'll bring you back after I've got them all divided. Well, there they are, divided into 8 100-gram pieces. And you just cover it over and let it rest for 10 minutes before we roll them out. And the oven has been preheated to as hot as it will go. My oven will go to 550 Fahrenheit. I'm not quite sure what that is in Celsius. But you heat the oven as hot as it will go. And they don't go in the ovens for a specific period of time, 3 to 4 minutes, but you watch them so that they don't burn. But evidently the extra heat, the high heat rather than extra heat, is what causes them to puff, which I have luck with sometimes and sometimes I don't, so it remains to be seen what will happen here. I always like them, they always taste good. I've never made sourdough ones before, but sometimes mine puff up into a big balloon so that you've got that pocket when you cut them in half to make a, like a pocket sandwich with. Other times mine don't puff up at all, so time will tell how that's going to work out. And they've had their 10-minute rest. Just lightly flour a surface to roll them out on. A little bit of flour on your hands makes them easier to handle. Just like to get it into a bit of a round shape to start with. And working from the center, try to get it into something that resembles a round. think I said something that resembles a round. Mine's turning out to be almost square. That's about ready to go in the super hot oven on my pizza stone with a crack in it. Yeah, that'll do. I'll take you over and show you it going in the oven. As quickly as possible. The oven doesn't cool down too much. And I'll show you what it looks like in 4 minutes time. It's been 4 minutes and it did puff. It's not exactly round, but it puffed nicely and it's brown on all sides. Better luck next time with getting it rounder, I guess. Well, that's the last one. I've had varying degrees of success with them puffing. That one has puffed pretty well. Some of them didn't puff much at all. They will all be eaten and enjoyed, I guess. Not quite sure. I mean, the same oven temperature. This one, it said you could do them either on a pizza stone or directly on the rack. I put that one directly on the rack. It sort of did puff quite a bit, I guess. So I'm not certain which method I like the best. I'll keep trying. If you have better luck with yours and yours puff more consistently than mine do, please don't hesitate to tell me about it. I would like to know what I'm doing wrong, if I'm doing something wrong here. This is the first one that came out, and it did a pretty good job of puffing. These, I'm sure, will freeze as well as the other ones that I've made in the past that weren't sourdough. I'll put them in a bag, and except for the ones that I'm going to eat immediately, I'll put them in a bag and freeze them, and 10-15 seconds in the microwave, and they're just like they just came out of the oven. They freeze very well. But I'm going to make a pocket sandwich out of one of these for lunch tomorrow, and I'll bring you back and show you my pocket sandwich. Well, what's this, day 3, I guess, of the pita bread experiment. I did eat one last evening when it was fresh and warm, and they were delicious and have a nice sourdough flavor to them. But I'm just making now a tuna salad sandwich for lunch. That one has a very nice pocket. I think that's the last one that came out of the oven. I was most pleased with that. Some of the other ones, well, they all puffed a bit, but some of them didn't puff an awful lot. Not quite sure what I could do to correct that, I guess. I thought I treated them all the same. This is just one of those mixed salads that you can buy in the bags in the grocery store already washed, it says several times. You can use it direct from the bag. So far it hasn't killed me, so I guess that's true. And my tuna salad is just tuna. I like a little onion in mine, salt and pepper and mayonnaise. A little paprika, which I think must be just for looks. I don't know. Does anybody actually taste the paprika when you put it in something like this, or is it just for a nice look, a nice garnish? Well, I will meet you in the dining room shortly, and we'll try that. Well, let's give this a try. I'll try not to talk with my mouth too full. Yes, the bread has a lovely sourdough flavor to it. I suppose that long fermentation of 24 hours really enhanced it. And as you saw, this one in particular made a nice pocket. They didn't all make a nice pocket. So if you've got any idea what I would do to make them so they all make a nice pocket, please let me know. Well, this is the point in the video where I'm once again going to do my infomercial type thing, I guess. I got 2 or 3 things I'd like to explain or try to explain. I will put the link below the video to the recipe that I found online. If, when you go looking for it, it's not there, it's something new that seems to be happening on YouTube. I don't know, maybe I'm just imagining it, but it seems to me that some of the links that I have put on some of my recent videos to recipes that I found online, they're not my recipe. I like to give a credit to whoever it is that dreamed up the recipe. They seem to be disappearing. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. So I will put it there and hopefully it stays there. And if you haven't made sourdough bread and you'd like to make sourdough bread, as I said before, I sell my dehydrated starter on eBay, and I'll put that link there if you're interested. The other item is, for the last several months, I have been selling merchandise below my videos. And it's confusing some people, so I'm going to try to explain it. Not trying to push the merchandise here. If you see it and look at it and if you like it, fine. If you don't, that's okay too. It's produced by a third party. And that way I don't have to be responsible for keeping an inventory or for doing the shipping. All of the items were designed by me, the photographs and whatever that are used in them. It's, if you can't see it, it's t-shirts, coffee mugs, a tote bag. I think I have 1 poster in there. Anyways, not many items, half a dozen or so. But I've had different people make a comment about them. They've seen them below their video, and then other people see that and want to know why they don't see it below their video. It only shows up in countries where it is available. And this, again, is done by this third party that produces the items for me. I know it's available in Canada and the United States and in some countries in Europe. Not all of Europe, evidently, but some countries in Europe. I've never heard that it's available anywhere in Asia or Australia or any place like that. If you see it, fine, let me know. But that is some explanation anyway for some of the people who have wanted to know what we're talking about when they talk about my merchandise. So if it's there, have a look at it, and I'm sorry if you can't see it if it's not there, but there's nothing I can do to change that. I don't have any control over what videos it appears under. It'll appear under any video, as I said, as long as you live in a country where the items are available. Well, a long-winded explanation. I hope that explains what I've been trying to explain in comments. Thank you very much for watching. I'll get this up on YouTube, and I'm going to finish my sandwich.